Are you always coming up with ideas? Do you marvel at successful business owners? Do you hate being told what to do? Ever take things apart just to see how they work? Are you a dreamer? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Pro Tapes and Specialties is the world leader in tape manufacturing and specialty conversion with over 40 years of experience. In addition to our pro brand of high-quality specialty adhesive tapes, we provide contract converting services that help improve your profitability, streamline your supply chain, and reduce inventory cost. We offer the most complete range of converting capabilities in the industry, such as cloth tape, double-coated tape, specialty tape, paper tape, masking tape, vinyl tape,
carton sealing tape, adhesive transfer tape, duct tape, foam tape, electrical tape, filament tape, foil tape, reflective tape.
And the tape just keeps on rolling. Visit us online today at www.protapes.com or call us at 800-345-0234. Pro Tapes, it's just how we roll.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Entrepreneur Enclave, Life's Coming Attraction. This interview is catching me by surprise, but I want to give a shout out to Tony Wilbon. She was the one who suggested that I interview this next brother because she said that oftentimes when she was traveling and she had to be in Pittsburgh, she would go by this wonderful coffee shop. And she mentioned that this guy was a former Pitt alumni. And I'm like, wait. Black folks drink coffee at that level? Do they have a coffee shop? So, Brother James, I am sorry, but welcome to the platform. Talk to me, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I am doing well. So I am excited because I know that we have got to jump into this conversation quickly. So first of all, congratulations. What is the name of your coffee shop?
It is called ESHT, ECHT Coffeehouse Lounge and Bistro. Coffeehouse is one word.
Yes.
It's a sit-down coffee house styled after old European-style coffee houses where you come in. Although they do takeout, most of their service is in-house, and it's table service. People are presented with a menu that includes coffee and tea drinks. And also we have for the bistro side, we have a small menu that is a fusion of European cuisine with soul food. So it's a fusion of soul food with different European cuisines.
Wow.
And it's just a different experience.
It sounds like where is and my apologies again, where is the coffee house located?
It's located at 107 Penn Avenue in Mount Oliver Borough, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's just above the south side. If you take 18th Street up, it turns into Brownsville Road, and then you make a left onto Hayes Street, and then at Penn Avenue, you make another left, and we're the first building on the second block.
Love it. Now let's start from the beginning. When you and I were at Pitt, were you an avid coffee drinker?
Well, we had been bitten by the Starbucks bug back then. Okay. So, I basically started drinking, Starbucks drinks and so forth and so on. I did have coffee. I've always liked black coffee per se. Okay. And that's related to my mother. One day when I was like 13 years old having a cup of coffee with her, I asked her, could I have a cup? And she said, sure, you're 13. If you want to have it. And I kind of did it like my grandfather did. I put a bunch of sugar in it and a lot of cream. And she looked at me and she said, James Arnold,
yes,
don't you think if coffee was meant to have all that cream and sugar, it would come with it?
Wow.
She said, Mommy drinks her coffee black. And so I got the waitress's attention and I ordered the black coffee, and since then I've been drinking black coffee.
Now here's my story and here's my introduction. So for me, I guess I didn't start drinking coffee until I was probably in my 20s, because when I was growing up, the joke around the house was that coffee will stunt your growth. So I'm like, oh no, I don't. So I stuck to the tea.
Good understanding.
Oh man. All right. So now so let's go all the way back to the beginning with your permission. You're at Pitt. What was that experience like for you while you were at Pitt?
Pitt was I come from a little small town, East Conemaugh, Pennsylvania, which is near Johnstown. So
yes.
In the graduating class of 120, there was one black male, me,
yes.
and two black females, my cousin and I.
Okay.
At Pitt, I just basically I did what I did. I hung out with. I was on the floor. Was in Tower C. I had my own room.
Okay.
Met friends on the floor. Happened to be Caucasian, and that's what I was used to. But then I met being in the program where Mario Bogerson and worked.
Yes.
I met John Claggett, and we became friends. And then the next term, it was like a whole different party.
Gotcha.
I made the dean's list the first term, and the second term, there was no dean's list in sight. My mother was like, "What happened with you?"
Did you overall enjoy the experience at Pitt?
I did enjoy the experience at Pitt, maybe a little bit too much,
That's
but
all
I did
right.
enjoy.
Welcome to the club, brother. Well, welcome to the club. So now, while you're at Pitt, even though coffee was really not in your bag at that time, were there any coffee shops or coffee houses that you were frequent?
Not really.
Okay.
You know, because basically we did. I don't even think there were many coffee houses in Oakland at that time.
Yeah, I'm going to think, because most of the time it was you went to a diner, right? If you really wanted good coffee, right?
But you know, your diners didn't really have nothing but black coffee. You know, they percolate coffee. So it wasn't until the introduction of Starbucks that we really got into the coffee, per se, coffee house type place where you get the cappuccinos and so forth and so on and so on.
Got you. Now, so you graduate. So when does the coffee bug? When does that kick in? Like your love for coffee. When does that kick in?
I would say that. So during that period of time, you know, I went back and went to nursing school, and one of my favorite drinks was to get a Starbucks cappuccino and add extra shot to it. That was like my favorite drink.
With the espresso, right?
With the espresso, yeah.
To
so
keep you up.
Like, it would kind of make you. That's exactly what it would do. It helped keep you up, so forth and so on. You working 12-hour shifts, and so that really was my love. But then when I traveled to Europe with now my husband, Jörg Gerlach, Dr. Gerlach, there's a coffee culture in Europe is a bit different.
Okay,
and so
let me stop you for a second. When you say the coffee culture in Europe is bit different, let's jump into that. What do you mean different?
So you don't really, although now they do have small and larges, for the most part, all drinks are made one size.
Got you.
It has a set amount of coffee and then a set amount of milk. And you could tell them to make it a little stronger or pour a little longer. But, you know, and so I went there asking for a cappuccino with an extra shot, and they looked at me like I had 12 heads. And he says, and I was like, well, he's like, well, what do you mean? I said, I want like 2 shots. And he says, you don't really need that. He says, it already has 2 shots in it because it's a double shot when we pull it.
Okay.
He says, with the milk proportion, it's a perfect drink. And so that's what we do at our coffee house. There's really only one size drink.
Gotcha.
There's some people who come in and say they want a large, and I say, okay, but have one size. What you're going to get. So, and it's not, but it allows you to enjoy the coffee.
Yes.
We are bringing in green beans from Ethiopia.
Yes.
And we're roasting them in-house. And so we started with Sidama, and then we use Yugoshefer. We're currently doing a natural Sidama. and then we'll go to a wash, Jägerschäfer, for the most of the rest of summer into fall.
Okay, now I've got to stop you and I got to slow down because you were moving just a little bit too fast, and I want to throw a few questions in.
I'm sorry.
No, this is good, man. This is good. I drink tequila, so but not necessarily in the morning, right? But
right. Well, it's always 12 o'clock somewhere.
There you go. Thank you, man. You're giving me confidence now. So let me ask this question, right? So when you decide to open up this coffee house, right?
Mm-hmm.
We begin with the business plan, right? And in the business plan, does it say that I've got to go and take some courses in coffee? How does that come about, though? Because man, you are so knowledgeable. How does that come about, though?
Well, I didn't take no courses in coffee. You know, I'm sure there's classes out there, but there's a plethora of knowledge available to you if you do the right searches on the internet and you look at them and you weed out what's good and what's bad. Okay. So that's what I basically did. And then when you, like in Europe, there are a lot of places we can go. So when we have a home in Berlin, Germany, and when we go to Germany,
yes.
I frequent a lot of places where I can speak to other baristas and ask them questions and go over things and so forth and so on. So my knowledge, and I've bought some, like, I do a lot of YouTube, watching James Hoffman on YouTube about coffee.
Yes.
And then reality is, when you think about it, coffee originated. It comes from the motherland. It's Ethiopian. Yes. That's where you trace your first coffee back. Okay. And when you look at the industry, another thing that made me interested in it, it's basically a industry. When you think that beans are located, every bean that you see around the world, Costa Rica, Brazil, Jamaica, they all originate from the Arabica bean in Ethiopia. Wow. So, and when you look at the proportions of who runs the coffee industry, it's certainly not us. People of color running it.
Yes. So now you what was the process in terms of selecting this particular bean, right? That was going to undergird your coffee house. How'd you go about that?
So there's a place in Kreuzberg, Germany, which is a part of Berlin. And it's owned by an American woman who happens to just have, her husband is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Oh, wow. So what a small world. Yes. And there they have a plethora of coffee beans. Yes. But they had the Sadamo on their menu, and it was kind of one of our favorite coffees when we went to that particular coffee house.
Okay, so now, let me stop you for a second. So when you go and you're first selecting the bean, how do you go about the taste testing? Is there several cups in front of you, and how do you get the right blend?
Well, you can do well. I serve single bean origin, so nothing is blended. Okay. So what we did, because we knew the people and they had visited with us in Pittsburgh, so we talked coffee a lot. And
got you.
My partner kind of really likes the Sadama, so they told us that it was probably one of the best coffees that they had on their selection process. And don't get me wrong, the rest of the coffees were really nice, but for me, the single bean Sadama coffee is something very special.
Got you. Okay. Mm-hmm. Got you. So you've got this bean. And so now you're learning from the industry leaders, and then the light bulb goes off and says, okay, this is our bean, and this is the additions that we want to add to the coffee house.
Something like that. Okay. The coffee house came out of as my husband transitions out of his job at the university one day, because he's 62 now, so he wanted to, when we bought our first place in Pittsburgh, it was basically a junkyard, and we did a lot of in-house. We did a lot of special renovation. And we had a staircase built by a gentleman by the name of John Walters here in Pittsburgh, and he became interested in welding. Okay. So we when we started looking for a place, I found one building that sits at the corner of Hayes and Penn, and he found this building that sits down a little bit on Penn Avenue.
Okay.
And he had said he would like to start welding and making light sculptures out of metal and blah, 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 blah. So we get this building, and it then becomes he wants to make the windows. And so the windows in the coffee house are welded on the premises, and the glass is done by a place called Emerald Glass that sits on Josephine Street in the South Side. So the coffee house acts as a showcase for what can be done, welded material to be used in the home. Yes. And then the second part of it is to provide that type of elegant service from the grand coffee houses of Europe.
Wow. Man, I love it. So it's almost like the original thought was, let's buy this junkyard and just repurpose it, right?
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Well, it was an old firehouse building that when they bought the new fire trucks and they didn't fill it in, and they built the new firehouse on Brownsville Road.
Yes.
Then served as, it was a car dealership for a while because it's across the street from Beckman Motors. And then it was some radio stations in there for a while, and places sold radios. And then on the upper level, it was an after-hours club, the lab.
Okay.
And there's some we used some water glasses that are actually from that club. So we kind of, anything that we could use from that was still in usable condition, we just kind of went on with the program and used it because it's a part of the history of the building.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because people come in and say, there have been many a times that we've seen people thrown down those steps. The coffee house sits on the street level, but there's a set of steps that goes up the center of the building. They said there were many a times they've seen people thrown down those steps. So,
wow.
So it has a history.
So
and that's good.
Man, wow, I'm stunned. This is fantastic, right? So, got to go back to the business plan, right? Going back to the business plan. So we're writing the business plan, right?
Yes.
How do you craft the mission and the vision that we're going to undergird the coffee house? How do we craft that part?
So the mission is, the coffee house is a part of a program that our program, which is called the ESHT project.
Yes.
So that project is to bring together, in the building that we are, it's more craftsmen, but to me, craftsmen are artists. They just maybe do something a little bit bigger.
Yes.
Welders, so forth and so on. Then we have the coffee crafters, and also in that building is a place where there are being handmade ceramic towels.
Yes.
We've then purchased another building that sits on Brownsville Road, and that will be house what we call a artist loft type place, and it will be
love it.
It will be visual art. It will be photography. It could be writing. We're going to put in an area where there could be people who need a place to practice, like they're coming into town and need a place they want to practice without going to the set where they're going to perform. It'll be a performance practice area in the building as well.
Brother James, I am blown away listening to you. So that was, and that continues to be the mission. So you guys, you and your partner are like Renaissance men creating this whole incubator platform.
Exactly.
I love
Our
it.
goal
man.
is it's more of a destination place because we don't sit on the main street, and
Understood.
we don't sit on Carson Street where we have that there's foot traffic and people are going to see it.
Yes.
So it's about in our plan. It's about providing that quality service so that people want to come back, so that people visit. The coffee's good, the food is good, the service is good, and they tell their friends, and then their friends come back,
Yes.
and they bring it back. So that's how it is. That's how we think of it, as a destination place. And I don't think there's really no place probably in the tri-state area that probably looks like this my coffee house looks.
Listen, man, from the way you are describing it, I can say it's certainly beyond the tri-state area, because what I'm hearing, I'm seeing, and I've been to places where they are building upon the idea, but not to the point that you and your partner have moved it forward. So I love it, man.
Mm-hmm.
So this could be a much larger destination. Like anytime you can get a flight to Pittsburgh, you've got to go here, right?
Well, that's interesting, because we've had people who have specifically came because they've heard about their friends. We had people from Venezuela. We've had people from Brazil.
Yes.
Had people from Europe who were in, and their friends told them, "You must go see this. We must go to this coffee house." So it is. The word is spreading, and the word is spreading pretty decently. And particularly, I'm glad to see it. I'm seeing, like, when the business started, we had more of a 60-40 split, but now we have a lot of my own people coming to the coffee house. It makes me feel proud.
Yes. And so when do you think that the love of coffee moved into, let me try to couch that a little differently. When do you think the love of coffee grew to where people of our color wanted to own coffee houses? When do you think that really took center stage? Is that the past 10 years?
I think that it's a movement in the progress.
Yes.
I don't think it's. I think that in areas like Atlanta, you see more Black-owned coffee roasting businesses and so forth and so, and coffee houses. But I think it's a progress that's happening because the industry, there are papers written about the disproportionality of the coffee industry amongst people of color and then of people that are not color. So with those, with that being brought to light, we now see bigger interest in people of African American people wanting to own coffee houses.
Yes,
because it's really it's a part of our heritage.
I love it. And so, how often do you receive your bean shipment?
Well, what I do is, like, currently I have 2 bags of washed Jörg Gerlach there waiting. So I have 2.5 bags because I'm finishing up so I get it every 2 to 3 months. And what I really do, and we will pick up that progress as we grow as a business. But I really I provide beans to the public, yes, but ultimately it's about making sure I have beans in house.
Okay.
And so we do a small batch roasting, and we're going to eventually go up on the size of roasting
Now, when you say small batch, is that what 5 gallons? Was that 10 gallons?
No, we do 3 pounds of beans.
3 pounds, okay, 3 pounds.
3 pounds of bean, and it takes about 15 minutes to do a roast. So you can do. They say you can do 4 an hour, but if you're like labeling and doing all that, you really get 3 done in an hour.
Got you.
But if I did it every day. But right now, one of the hardest things to do coming out of the COVID crisis is to find people who want to work in the service industry and that you can count on.
Understood.
So
Understood.
I'm kind of like wearing multiple hats in the business, but it's what I want.
Now, and I'm gonna fumble with this word. At what level can you call yourself a barista? Is that soon as you enjoy the love of coffee, or we have to get to your level before you can call yourself a barista?
Well, I don't even consider. I wouldn't call myself I can make good coffee drinks.
Yes.
And I think it's about putting in the time. And you can take classes.
Yes.
To learn. But I had already decided I wanted to do the business, so I did a lot of. I had people come in and show me things.
Okay.
So I think it's about when you feel comfortable.
Okay.
Will I ever compete in a barista competition? Probably not. But I feel comfortable making drinks for my patrons who come into my coffee house because I've done the research and understand what the ratios of milk to coffee are when making the drink.
And so how much time did you actually have to spend in terms of doing the research and just getting the machinery and just getting the look right just for you and your partner before you were to open up the shop, the coffee house?
So we bought the building in 2015.
Yes.
And we opened up the coffee house in 2022. That being said, part of that, we were in COVID. So there was, we went into the COVID crisis, we were at the process where we were getting ready to open, but we didn't rush through the process. And because the welding of the infrastructure work, like putting the spiral staircases in and drilling out the circles and then welding the spiral staircases and all the work that went in, took a bit of time to do because it's all doesn't work. So it was a nice wait, and I'm pleased where we're at right now.
Wow. Listen, I'm going to put a plug in for you. I'm going to put a plug in for the city of Trenton. We've got some old buildings here in Trenton, New Jersey, my hometown. And man, I would love to invite you and your partner here, for a day trip, man, so I can show you what we are working with. And man, I would love for you to consider it, right? Wow, we
definitely
a franchise.
Consider. Yeah. Well, down the road, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying tomorrow, but based on the kind of work that you and your partner, you and your husband are doing, you would have to seek out the place here, and it might take you maybe 2 years or 18 months with your vision to really get it right, particularly with the other components that you're talking about, right? Now let's go back. So everything that you do on the food side, right? Is that you creating the recipe yourself?
So what I do is I work with a young gentleman by the name of Kevin James, who is he's not a trained chef, but he's been cooking for a while.
Yes.
But we look at what I did when I created the menu is I looked at what I thought would be different.
Yes.
There's a dish on there called Greens and Grits, which is a vegan dish.
Okay.
Out of a soul food vegan cookbook. And when I saw the recipe, I was like, that's something truly different. You see shrimp and grits, but greens and grits, and it was like, my partner was like, why would you put that on there? I said, because it's different and nobody, you don't see it being served anywhere else.
Yes.
And so with that dish, although it's vegan, what you can do is you can add, we do bacon. We don't do bacon strips. We do bacon cut in fourth cut.
Okay.
And quarter inch, which are called lardons, and you can add those to the dish. So we have a kind of a health conscious menu, but it still has good flavor to it.
Yes. Wow. And so part of your job as like the owner, the operator, CEO, how much time do you actually spend doing the coffee, or do you just do a lot of the research and marketing?
No. I like right now I do, like I'm roasting my own coffee. So
Okay.
when I finish the call with you, I'll go up and do some roasting.
Okay.
And I'll do payroll first because it's payroll.
That's important too.
Yeah, I'll do payroll first, and I'll do some roasting, and then I'll make maybe a couple coffee drinks, stuff like that. It's quite busy, but I foresee that it will eventually get to a point where I'll be able to hire the people necessary and be able to sit back and just help in the areas where I really want to particularly help. One of the things is we have also is a distillery license, and we did some distilling, but I would like to do a couple more batches so that I can have stuff available to the public by August.
Distilling? What are you distilling?
We've made some rum.
What?
From a beautiful natural sugar out of Colombia. I have some vodka, and I have some whiskey made out of a old.
Oh, brother, come on, man. You know what? The more you keep talking, right? This reminds me of, have you ever been to Asbury Park, New Jersey?
No, I haven't.
Okay. you and your
I've been-
husband, you have to go because in Asbury they have a beer garden. They took an old warehouse and they turned it into the old German style beer garden where you go and you get the bratwurst and you get the large, football size pretzels, right? And you just sample the different beers, right? And then on the corner, they started a distillery. I don't know if it's the same owners, but they also have like 2 distilleries going on.
Yeah.
And and Asbury is a very small town, right? But the other thing I was going to suggest, and I'm going to suggest it even louder now, on the back side of that building, they do glass blowing. And
wow.
And so as people are coming in, some people are coming in for the day. They may go and participate in a glass blowing class. And then while the glass blowing is, I guess, getting to the point where you can see it, but you can't take it home with you, they go around the corner and do either distillery or they do the beer garden. But that whole Asbury piece, man, is fantastic. And that's what your business puts me in the mind of, and I often say that type of eclectic business is going to really restore a lot of these urban communities, right? That have these beautiful businesses and buildings, but they don't have the creative know-how as to how to bring it back. But man, so I'm going to say, we want you here in Trenton, but you got to go check out Asbury because that's really going to get your juices flowing even more once you see the space that and how they do the things in Asbury Park, New Jersey. Man, this is so exciting. Personal question: have you ever gone back to Pitt to recruit folks to perhaps work in your business?
I have not, but I will do so, and I understand that is possibly. I did earlier.
Yes.
There was a gentleman. He was a senior, and I knew he wouldn't be there long, but he was a coffee fanatic, and he was from Pitt.
Yes.
And so I know that there's the possibility to do that, and so I'm going to look forward to doing that. Right now, I think it's school's over, so maybe there's some people sticking around for summer looking for something to do. So we will find out.
Got you. And so, Brother James, what are your hours?
My hours are closed Tuesday,
Yes.
8 to 4, Monday through Saturday, Sunday 10 to 4.
And why close on Tuesday? That's like an odd day. Why is that?
Well, because most every other place is closed on Monday, so that gives them, if somebody wants to come out for a quick bite to eat for lunch, or then they can do so.
Got you. I love. There's a method to your madness. I love it.
Yes, there is.
Got you. Okay. So any other expansions that you're looking to bring on board in terms of the coffee?
Yeah. Well, meaning.
So I mean, what's the next step? Are you trying to introduce some different brews, some different coffee blends?
So we do. I will eventually do a blend,
Okay.
but it will just be an African blend of coffee, I'm sure.
Okay.
I want to continue to perfect my, make sure my staff. I want to continue to grow my staff so that we can continue to provide quality service to individuals who come into the coffee house.
Yes.
We are working on doing, hopefully within the next, by the end of July, a supper club event at the coffee house.
Wow.
Just continue to grow as a business and a place that people would want to come and visit in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I love it, man. I love it. Wow. This is fantastic. Now, so my next question is, so what does the competition look like in Pittsburgh? Are there other black men or black people that have coffee houses in Pittsburgh?
I have seen a couple come up in the past months, but I believe this is a place where we all can exist together because we all bring something different to the table.
Understood. And so, what would you consider to be your competitive advantage, though?
we have good coffee, we have
Okay.
to provide good service, and we have good food.
Okay. Well, the other thing I would add too is also the environment, right?
The environment is something very special as well.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
something totally different. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, right? And so if there's a young person out there, particularly a person of color, what would
Mhm.
you suggest that he or she do in order to be amongst the ranks of a coffee house owner? What would be the first steps?
The first step is to decide if it's truly something that you love and really
Yes.
want to do.
Okay.
The second step is to reach out to different African American owned coffee houses and speak to them about the business.
Yes.
Maybe do some shadowing, maybe work at the business for a year or two just to get it under your wings to see. And the second part is to find, if it's truly what you want to do, find a place to do it, and follow your dream,
Yes.
because it's out there for us to get it.
Yes. What has been some of the challenges for you that perhaps you had to overcome?
For me, it was the waiting period, but there was nothing I could do about that. I just had to wait until the building
Okay.
had progressed, and then you look at avenues and you try to find different ways to find grant and different funding to help you do different things. And so it's challenging, but I do believe that we will find an answer to that and be able to do so.
Gotcha. And so what's the number one thing you enjoy about your work? About your passion? What's the number one thing you enjoy?
I enjoy speaking with customers,
Yes.
learning, especially when it's something special when they tell you that they've heard about you and been wanting to come, and they'll say, "Oh, we saw you on the Pittsburgh Live show, and
Yes.
we've been trying to get there." Just to see the support that's coming my way, and I'm happy. I'm walking on the clouds right now.
And Brother James, I hear that in your voice, man. I am so excited. And and I don't want to sound like I'm Mr. Black Man while I was at Pitt.
Mhm.
I never had a chance to meet you.
Well, that happened. I know the name once I knew his name, but I never. But it's even to like Pitt's really not a HBCU.
Yes.
So, but there are a lot of our people there.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes our paths don't
Yeah.
cross. But
And-
that doesn't mean.
And I had this I can't recall. I was interviewing another young lady, and we were talking about, did we feel as though we were missing out because we didn't go to HBCU? And I had to catch myself, and I said, you know what? I don't think that we did, because
No, we didn't.
because the number of African Americans or Black folks at that time, they were substantial, right? And so everyone that we needed to see, we had access to them. They were being, through the Black Acting Society or Student Union, they were being brought onto campus. So I don't think that we missed much. I think we do miss the halftime shows.
Yeah.
Got
That's
you.
true.
Now-
I think that it was a night. I like Dr. Jack Daniels
Yes.
did a great job of making sure that.
Well, not only Dr. Jack Daniels, but Dr. Vernell Lilly, right?
Vernell Lilly, I loved her. I
Oh.
met her. I took a class with her my first term
Yes.
at Pitt.
Yeah, that was my girl. So
Yeah. Makes
I
you
got
rest in peace.
I got to give a shout out to my ex roommate, was a Big John Carter and Mark Hall. I think it was our sophomore year or junior year. We took a class with her, and then she had, it wasn't a second class, but she asked us to be a part of the Cantu Repertoire Theater. And we did that, so we got to know her even deeper and meet Rob Penny and all those guys.
Yes,
So-
and that's something very, very special.
Yeah, so we never really felt like we missed anything, right?
Mhm.
Right, and then the other guy that I hated, and I don't say it that way, was oh God, he taught jazz. Forgot his name. He was a professor, but he was so passionate, and I just took it as a summer class. But then I was realizing years later how deep and well received, not just in the Pittsburgh community, but throughout the world.
What?
I forgot his name. Why is my brain? I need coffee right now to kind of perk me up.
That probably would help.
Yeah, that name is going to kill me. But I digress. But it was I had his class. I really wasn't into jazz. I was trying to get into it, but I just hated it because he was really pouring into us. But I just was not prepared to receive it, right? And then it was years later, like, holy crap, this is like the modern day version of a jazz god sitting in front of you, teaching you every week. I just couldn't appreciate it, right? Nathan Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I could not appreciate him. But now, as I'm older, even though he's no longer with us, he is like a jazz god in terms of teaching it and being in that history, right? Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now.
So what play did you do in Kantu?
Say that again.
What play did you do in Kantu?
It was. Oh wow! It was supposed to be the conversation of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. I think it was "Chicken Come Home to Roost."
Okay.
Yeah.
I did "Do Lord Remember Me" with her when in my first term on campus. It was really a very nice experience. I miss her.
Oh, absolutely. She, brilliant woman, just funny. And we actually had not only a professor-student relationship, but actually moved to be personal, where she would call the house in the morning to see, because we lived on the north side at that time. So she would call the house in the morning to see if we were coming to class.
Yeah, because she didn't play about missing class.
No. And then sometimes I would answer the phone using the speaker phone, and then she was like, "Is so and so over there with you?" Like, "Oh no!" I had to, quickly grab the phone. Like, that's not the person. Get you in trouble. She got me in trouble many a times, but I digress for a second. Why did you, and I think I know the answer, but why not north side, or why not Shady side as opposed to south side?
As opposed to Mount Oliver.
As opposed to Mount Oliver in terms of this location. Even though the location that you say, I can visualize it, and I'm trying to think at that point in time, was there any places on the north side that could have adequately fulfilled your bill?
There it is. One of the things that powers you to want to buy a building, in particular if it's in a good condition, is what is the pricing.
Yes.
So we got the buildings for a really decent price, and
yes.
So why not the north side? Because the north side is kind of developed, and the buildings are too expensive.
Okay.
And then secondly, it's because Mount Oliver is its own borough in Pittsburgh. We didn't have to go through all of the city sanctioning that they have.
Gotcha.
Bureaucracy.
Yes.
Open up a house.
Okay. Now, so as you were developing your business, I mean, really developing the business and the build out, how was the community receiving you?
Well, people drive by. It's interesting because people tell you, "Oh, we've watched you over the years come into things." So they would drive by and look at it and wonder what was going on. They knew it was welding going on, but they didn't quite know what was going on the other side. Yes. So the community, I think, is very happy to have the coffee house in its community right now.
Awesome. Brother James, 5 years from now, where are we? 5 years from now.
Where are we 5 years from now?
Yes.
Let's see. I will be 62. Turning 62. 61, really. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Still here, probably.
Okay.
With business, I believe I've retired from nursing.
Yes.
We're running this new business. My goal was, I'll be honest with you, my goal was to be in my home in Berlin, Germany,
Okay.
5 years from now.
Okay.
But reality is I'll probably still be building this, like working in the business and making sure it's doing what it's supposed to do, and hopefully enjoying myself.
Okay.
Maybe I'll have a couple in 5 years, at least one or two franchises out there with the ESHT Coffeehouse name on it.
Yes. Now, how often do you go back to Germany now?
At least once a year.
Okay.
There was before COVID, I went every 6 months because I had a green card to there,
Gotcha.
and it's on standby because with COVID we didn't travel as much, and I didn't want to be in Europe and here. So
Understood. Now,
Mhm.
and you might have said this to me, and I apologize if I wasn't listening. Will there ever be a chance that you would go to Egypt and pick up your own beans yourself? Select your own bean.
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Why did I get Egypt? I'm sorry.
Yeah. There is a good chance, and that is something that I want to do. I want to really go to the farms where
Yes.
my beans use and make so that I can deal directly with the farmer
Yes.
as opposed to third party to get different beans. So that's making sure that the farms are getting the money that they need
Yes.
to continue to supply quality beans and to keep up with the changes in technology to help them with their bean growing production.
Love it. And then the machinery. How did you go about procuring the machinery for the coffee house?
So, you start that when you start on that journey if that's what you want to do. So you're looking at every piece of machinery that there is out there.
Yes.
We looked at some models in Europe
Yes.
that we really liked that we could get here, could be made and shipped to America. But we were in a trip to New York City, and we went to a place called Matcha, Tata Matcha, and they
Okay.
had this beautiful machine that sat flat to the counter,
Okay.
and it's called Mavon, and it's out of Washington State.
Yes.
So we had looked at all those other machines, and we had made a decision on which one we were going to get. And then one day he just called and said, "Let's consider that Maven because it's a really nice looking machine."
Yes.
And blah 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 blah. And so he made connections with the company, and we got the machine directly from the company.
Wow. Now, where's this coffee house in New York City?
So this was probably in Manhattan area. I'm not sure, because coffee house comes and goes. And the last time we were there 2 years ago, it was still the same coffee house, but it wasn't the same coffee house, if you know what I mean.
Understood. Now,
Yeah.
I got to ask a question. I enjoy a good cigar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Any chance of creating an outdoor space where I can
Yes.
come in? What? I can enjoy my cigar and have coffee?
Yeah, but not this summer, but maybe next summer.
All right. So listen, maybe next summer I can help you cut the ribbon on the outdoor pavilion for the cigar smoking part.
Come check it out, and then you can cigar on. We have a little veranda there. You can do that now.
Yes.
Just you can sit out front and have it for sure.
Absolutely. Because sometimes I will do. I've never gotten into coffee per se. I usually, and I'm going to mess this up, and I apologize. Please. I always do coffee and hot chocolate.
Yeah,
Right.
can do that.
So I don't want to offend you, right?
It's called the dirt hot chocolate.
Yeah. That's true too. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do that with chai tea. They put a shot of espresso in their chai tea, so it's
Yes.
a dirty.
Yes. Brother James, is there anything else? Because I can talk to you for days, man. This is so exciting, man. Right now, when we were running around campus, 18, 19, 21, did you ever think that your life was going to look like this?
I'm in the coffee business. I would say no.
Okay, gotcha.
That's that's being truthful with you.
No, understand. Well, listen, this is the only place where you can be truthful is on this podcast, this platform.
Yeah, things happened to work out that it happened that I decided I wanted to do this. So
yes.
Yeah.
And just from the sound of it, man. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You're playing, you come here and you're not guaranteed anything, but you're going to die when you come to this earth.
Yes.
And sometimes you just got to step out on faith, and that's basically what we did. We stepped out on faith, and we've put a lot of our own money into it,
yes.
which makes us proud. And we're not struggling. I just want the business to continue to grow so that it can support itself.
Yes, I love it, man. I love it. I could talk to you for days, but I know you got to get back to work. But
yes, I do.
Give me a quick shout out to anyone that you think would love to hear a shout out from you.
Shout out to Dr. Vaughn Claggett in Atlanta.
Yes.
Hope you're doing a good job taking care of those patients. Shout out to Professor Wilwan over there in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Shout out to Judge Shondia. Hope you're doing well. Shout out to everybody that I know at Pitt, Steve Jameson at Blue Soul Shoes. Just continue to follow your dreams.
Yes. Thank you, brother. Listen, the platform, I'm so proud of you, man. The platform is always open to you and your partner. We want to hear about all the great news, and let's you and I now stay connected, because I definitely want to invite you to Trenton so you can see what's going on here, and we certainly can make some things happen here for you, brother.
That sounds good. I will definitely keep in touch. I will send you some pictures later on today so you can see some shots of the coffee house.
Not a problem, beloved. Listen, man,
all
thank
right.
you so much. Have a wonderful day, and let's talk and stay connected.
All right, you too.
Thanks, man.
How's your mother doing?
Mom is doing well. She's going to be home in a few weeks, so that's going to change another part of my life. So I'll be doing more podcasting because I'll be more at home with her.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I got keeping her in my prayers, and take care of yourself. And thanks for the.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man.
Cheers, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That concludes another episode of The Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. We hope you found this episode informative and enlightening. If you have any questions or comments about any of our episodes, please call 609-731-9311 or email kevin@minding-our-business.com. We look forward to joining us for our next one. Until next time.